Looking at it. Yo, this is dope.
It is. Everyone worked hard.
He was talking about his look like a monkey. Her face.
No,
That
looks
what
great.
you do.
No, it does. It looks great. Is it?
No,
I had him.
he's sitting.
You gonna do a comment?
No, I had him redraw a page. I gave him a page to draw, and I had them redraw a page.
That must be hers.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh no, my hair.
Whenever always
don't be running away,
professional. That must be hers.
man. We got the
She draws
dopest
better than-
freaking art students ever. Look at this page. All right, so today we're gonna do one of my favorite. Today we're gonna do one of my favorite kind of vlogs. It's basically what I call a drawing in my sketchbook vlog. So basically, I'm going to sketch out concepts while I'm talking. I did this before for Quantum University, and today I'm going to do it for Misadventures of Kwame Hightower, just to kind of introduce the concept to you, introduce the characters to you, and kind of just get you guys into it. And then, of course, if you want to, I've got the link to my Facebook fan page for Kwame Hightower listed below. So definitely go there, check it out, and the more updates will be coming forward. So where do I begin? Okay, yeah, the main story. That's a good starting point. So what's Kwame Hightower? So basically, Kwame Hightower is the story of a young boy, a 12-year-old kid from St. Louis, that's moved to London, England, with his mother, who is going to be teaching at the University of London, African American Studies. Basically, he's having a hard time adjusting, and what basically happens is that his mom decides to take him on a tour of Buckingham Palace, and through a series of events, he ends up within a secret chamber where it appears that the royal family has hidden the magical mystical sword Excalibur. As with any story, we have all these kind of cool events going on. Basically, we set everything up where young Kwame is able to pull Excalibur from being embedded in the sword in the stone, which means a couple things. Well, one, that means that he's actually related to Arthur Pendragon, better known as King Arthur to you guys. Number two, based on the ancient traditions, he just became the King of England, and that's basically the premise of the story. It's about this young kid that finds out that he's a relative, or he's a descendant of Arthur Pendragon, and he pulls Excalibur from the stone and becomes the King of England. And this is a cool premise, basically, because it sets up a lot of different things for me to kind of build this world that Kwame exists in. So the basic idea that I had with Kwame Hightower is that it's going to be a series of graphic novels that I want to release and of course sell to the whole nation. So the first graphic novel is basically called Kwame Hightower and the Man with No Name. And in this, we're going to meet basically several characters that are going to be staples within the series, and then of course we're going to meet some characters that are going to be either in and out the series. Maybe they'll show up in future books, things of that nature. All right, so let's break down some of the characters that are going to be appearing in the series. First and foremost, we have Kwame Hightower. Basically, he's the hero of the series, of course. It's named after him. That's pretty obvious. But more about him. So, My man is 12 years old. He's from north side of St. Louis. He's very smart, very inquisitive. He has a very smart mouth. So he speaks his opinion, and that gets him in trouble with a lot of people at times, because he doesn't have any problem. He doesn't have a filter. You know, he's one of those people without much of a filter. So one of the other things that we're going to find out about Kwame is Kwame has a very acute understanding of responsibility, or he has a very deep sense of honor. So that's actually going to come to play oftentimes in the series. He can be a little stubborn at times. So he has a stubborn streak. You know, so sometimes he just finds a position and he holds that position, things of that nature. Next on the list is Kwame's mom, Deidre. She's a single mom. Kwame's father was lost tragically in a fire. He was a firefighter. He was saving a family, and the floor collapsed and his father passed away. She's a widow, so that's actually a deep loss in both their lives. So during that time when he was alive, she was going to school to become a teacher, and actually to become, to move further up in the career ladder. After a few years after he died, she was able to achieve her goal, and she actually got an offer letter from, surprise, surprise, all places, of the University of London. Looking at this as an opportunity to kind of get out, get abroad, and kind of show her son that there's more to the world than just the hood. She took the offer, and that's how they ended up in London, England. And through that, basically what we learn about her is that she's hardworking. She really cares about her son. She wants the best for him, but sometimes she does question some of the decisions that she's made, because she kind of feels in her heart, well, now I've gotten him into this situation, I don't know how to get him out. So we're going to see how her story plays out also. All right, guys. So now we got Kwame's mom. We know more about Kwame. We know more about his mom. But what about the rest of the series? Well, now we actually get into some of the basic tenets and rules of the series as laid down by some of the supporting cast that Kwame is going to be dealing with. Number one, we know that Kwame is going to pull the sword Excalibur. What we don't realize is that Excalibur is a little bit more than just a sword. It's actually quite sentient. And the thing is that one of the basic tenets of the series is that there's really no such thing as magic. Magic is something that people that don't understand how something works, is a word people use when they don't understand how something works. That's what magic is. So literally, there is an explanation for pretty much everything that goes on in this world. It may be far-fetched super science and pretty fantastical, but that's pretty much one of the boundaries that we're going to go by. So with Excalibur itself, Excalibur is actually a weapon system from a far, 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 far land that is self-aware, and it's a self-aware artificial intelligence. That stated, there are some rules that it operates by, but first being able to be basically, it can only be activated by people that it chooses to. So, for instance, unless you're a direct descendant of Arthur Pendragon, or somebody that the system decides that, yeah, I'm going to let you use me, you can't use it. So, that's stated. All of this is built around kind of a science-y approach to the original Legends of King Arthur. So through this, we actually build out a lot of the backstory of Arthur Pendragon, as well as the Knights of the Round Table and its descendant organization, which is now a part of MI6, and it's called Round Table. And what Round Table does, basically, they handle matters. They handle matters of on the espionage level. Of course, they're spies, that type of deal. But they handle matters of the old world. And what's the old world? The old world is the world that existed mainly before the Industrial Revolution, before the certain treaties were put into place and certain technologies were used and secretly utilized to make sure that the ancient races and the human race really don't interact that much with each other. Sorry, because they found that it's better this way. If the general population kind of forgets that these ancient races live, and then they just kind of fade into legend, and it works a lot better. So you have a lot of societies living on the planet that intermingle but don't intermingle, and of course we use to quote one of my favorite lines, we use a lot of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, sciencey stuff to explain that. And yes, we play with that. We play with the lines a lot. So that's just how it is. So going back to Roundtable again, as a part of MI6, it's their job to kind of police and maintain this balance. And of course, Roundtable becomes very intertwined in Kwame's life, because now that he's the king of England, his main job is to actually be the presiding, deciding force over matters of the old world. So if there's a treaty violation, or if two ancient races are going to go to war, as the king, he has to go help solve these issues, maybe put together a crusade, get some Roundtable agents, and whatever it is, he's going to be a part of it. So that's actually kind of a cool idea. I think is going to be that's going to come across in the series. Within Roundtable, you're going to meet one of the most important characters in the series, Agent David Haslam, who is one of the best agents that they have. He's basically their James Bond. So he's been involved in a lot of missions, a lot of history, and he's going to become a mentor to Kwame. Sometimes he's going to get on Kwame's nerves, and what we're going to learn about this guy is that he has a checkered past. He's a military guy. He's done some things that he's not proud of, and he operates off of a deep sense of obligation and regret for mistakes that he's made in the past, people that he's hurt in the past. And we're going to see that there's a side to this guy that sometimes he has a very dark side, but he's a very noble guy. But sometimes really noble people can also do really bad things, and he's kind of danced that line his entire life. So we're going to see more about him, or we're going to learn more about him moving forward through the series. Now, Haslam has some guys that are that work with him. Mainly, his main assistant is Nix, who she provides the eyes and ears. She's the technical eyes, the ears, the gadget maker. She's all of that. Plus, she accompanies him on missions. So it's kind of like if going back to the James Bond reference, I forgot his name, but the guy that creates all the crazy devices that Bond uses, if that guy also was sitting in the van doing surveillance. So it's kind of a combination of Tom Arnold's character from True Lies and the scientist that always creates, the inventor that for James Bond that always creates all of the cool gadgets that he uses. So Nix also came up within a program within Roundtable. So she's basically spent a vast majority of her life learning about the ancient races and all of those things, but also, of course, really focusing on technology, things of that nature. She's older than Kwame. Of course, she's in her early 20s, but she can kind of relate to him. And as the series moves forward, she's going to become kind of a sounding board for him sometimes. Whereas Haslam is in his mid-30s and he's a little bit more far removed. She can kind of reach Kwame sometimes when nobody else seems to be able to get through to him, because again, this is going to be a very difficult journey for our main character, because we're putting upon him a lot of responsibility. So she's going to play a larger role moving forward within the series. All right, guys. So Kwame Hightower has a lot of there's a large cast of supporting characters. So I'm not going to get into all of them today, but we are going to touch on two more. One being the focus of the first novel, which is The Mysterious Man with No Name, better known as Prisoner Zero, because they don't have any other name for him. And what we're going to learn about this character is that he has a very close, he ties all the way back to Arthur Pendragon, because basically it was Arthur that put him into prison. And of course, we're going to fast forward 1500 years to the present, and this guy is now breaking out, and he has a very specific mission. I'm not going to get into what it is because I want you to read the novel, but basically, without him breaking out of prison, and it kind of gets the ball rolling once his breakout does. So what does this mean for Kwame Hightower? Well, again, Prisoner Zero gets the ball rolling, and then as we learn, we're going to learn that he's a member of one of the ancient races, a race of people called the Dracone. And the Dracone are basically half men, half dragons. And we're going to learn a lot about their past. And we're also going to learn that the big bad in this series are dragons, of course. And to that end, it's their eventual return that's actually kind of the big threat. And we're going to find out a lot of how they got banished from Earth, what happened to them, and who or what is behind them coming back. And of course, that leads us to our villain, who is Prince Mordon. And Prince Mordon is very arrogant leader of the Dracone. He's the current leader of the Dracone at this point. Very arrogant, very self-serving individual that is, in essence, a religious zealot. And as we learn, it's going to be that zealotry that kind of becomes the great threat in the graphic novel. So I hope you guys are really, see this guy, meet him, and then you're like, yeah, I don't like him. And hopefully I do a good job of characterizing him. So that's where we're at with basic. That's the basic Kwame Hightower storyline. All right, so guys, that's the basic. That's the basic story behind Kwame Hightower. There's some things that I purposely left out that I hope you guys will pick up the graphic novel once it's completed, read it, and be like, okay, all this now ties in. But I hope that really helps you guys understand exactly where I'm coming from, and I hope it piqued your interest more than anything else. So we're going to document the journey, just like we're documenting the journey for Quantum University, all the things that I'm creating, and it's going to be fun. The script for Kwame Hightower, that's written. It's ready to go, and it is A1 day one. So that's pretty much it. That's it. Vlog's over. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace. Yeah, draw inside the panels. But like I said, take your time. Figure out each of these panels. Don't just try to draw just to draw. Figure out why everything is where it's at before you draw.